So let's go to line 1, Sue from Chicago. Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm wonderful as well. Thank you for calling in.
Well, my question is, there is so much out there about in spiritual practices using the question, how shall I serve? A lot of people use that in the morning when they wake up as a prayer. I know Wayne Dyer was a big proponent of it, but he was also a big proponent of the ego. And I'm wondering what your take is on that. The service, will that get us to heaven? I think I know the answer after hearing you talk, but,
yes. So I want to ask you, have you read my book, What If This Is Heaven?
Yes, I have.
Okay, good.
I've read everything you have out there.
Oh, wow. Thank you. So you know that, so I loved Wayne dearly, and he has helped me so much, and he's still helping me. But there are a few things where I come at it from a different side than Wayne does, completely different side. And so when I think of the ego, and when I think of how may I serve, I grew up with those same beliefs as what you just said. I was told that service was the highest form of spirituality, that I had to always be of service. I was always told that I had to squash my ego, that the ego was the enemy. So here's the thing. And this may not apply to everybody, so I want to say this may not apply to everybody, but I grew up in a culture where there is gender disparity, and women were rewarded for being of service to men. A woman's role a woman's value was judged by how useful she was to the men in her life. And it was invisible. It's not like people said that, but it's what the paradigm, the environment was. And so you kind of become the environment. You become like everyone else because you want to fit in. And so then when your role is already to be subservient, and then you are told that the ego is bad, every time I felt the need to speak up and speak up for my rights or my values or my worth, I felt that was my ego. So I would squash it back down. I would trample it down. And I would just be of service to everyone else, to the point where I became a doormat. I became a people pleaser because I thought I was being spiritual. I had no life of my own. I was completely invisible. And here I was, somebody with a lot of my own ideas in my head, a lot of things that I wanted to express, which I wished I had the courage and the strength to express, a lot of views, a lot of creativity, but I suppressed all of it because I felt that my role was to be of service, and it was egotistical for me to stand up and speak out, especially if what I was saying contradicted or countered anything that the men in my life were saying, most especially if it countered what any guru figure was saying. Oh, so are you with me so far, Sue?
No, I mean, yes.
So it totally took death for me to realize that there is nobody that is more superior or inferior than me. We are all equal. It doesn't matter if they portray themselves as a guru in this physical life, as a guru form, but as a soul, as a spirit, as an essence, we are all equal. And for me, I had to do the opposite of squashing my ego, and it took death for me to learn that. I realized that there are many of us, not all, many of us that have what is called an inferiority complex. That's what I had. And if you're listening and you have an inferiority complex, what is an inferiority complex? It's the opposite of having an ego. It's the negative. So again, if you put ego on a spectrum, the people that need to hear the message that you need to curtail your ego are the ones that are on one extreme of the spectrum. But those people are not attracted to spiritual teachings like these. So that message is not of squashing your ego, is not landing on the people who need to hear it. Those people are out there taking over the world and sort of being the leaders that kind of oppress everyone else. And so because they have this confidence and ego that is out of proportion. On the other side of the spectrum, you have the people who have the inferiority complexes. They are the people who are compassionate and self-aware and caring and gentle, but they are invisible. So the planet doesn't hear from them. The planet doesn't see them. And maybe that's why our planet is so imbalanced and messed up right now. So I always tell the people who follow these spiritual messages, those of you who have self-awareness, those of you who are sensitive, who are empathetic, who are gentle on the planet, gentle on other people, you need to embrace your egos and share your views and share who you are, because the planet needs more of you. That's my take on it.
So that would be, in fact, the best way for me to serve, is to come from the heart.
Yes. And so back to the service, the first, so here's the other piece of it, is that I also advocate people take care of themselves and love themselves and honor themselves. And I'll tell you why. Because imagine if you could see your own life force energy coursing through your body. Imagine if you could see it. Imagine if you could wear a certain type of glasses where you stood in front of a mirror and you looked at yourself and you didn't see your physical body anymore. All you saw is this life force energy. Now imagine if, as you watch this energy, and when you are happy, when you're like relaxed and happy and at peace and joyful, you see this energy just grows and it goes at a really high frequency and it comes out of you and it's bouncing off the walls. And when you are sad and drained and depleted because you have been giving and giving and giving of yourself, and you can actually physically see that energy is just all gone, and it's tiny, and it's become like almost a washed out pale yellow. But when you're happy and joyful, it's bright, and it's a beautiful lavender color that's huge. So imagine if you could actually see that energy physically with your eyes, visually, and every time you did something that brings you joy, you saw that violet energy just get really big. So now here's the second part of this. People align themselves to each other. In other words, your energy affects other people in the room. When you enter a room, people feel your energy. When other people enter a room that you're in, you feel their energy. So when you enter a room and your energy is beautiful, vibrant, violet, what you're doing is you're bringing that to everybody else. You are performing a service every time you bring yourself out into the world, when you are shining like a beacon, because everybody else around you, their energy levels go up to match yours, because we feel it. We feel everybody's energy. But when your energy is drained and you're at negative, you are utilizing other people's energy to prop you up.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I suspected that, like the rising tide floats all boats, that my energy would lift others up, but I never thought of a negative energy draining others. So
yeah,
like the ultimate form of service.
Yes, so the ultimate form of service is to take care of yourself, love yourself, be joyful, be happy, so your very presence is a service to everyone around you. And the ultimate form of selfishness, which we don't realize, is to be so drained even from believing that, oh, I'm drained because I perform services for everyone, I am of service to everyone, and then to become so drained that other people need to prop you up with their energy.
I love that.
Thank you.
Anita.